Lyndon Johnson's November dilemma. The Baker scandal was looming as a major roadblock to Lyndon Johnson's political career, and therefore his dream of becoming president. He knew all about Bobby Kennedy feeding information to Senator Williams and to the Life magazine reporters right out of the Justice Department. There was very little that his chief collaborator, J. Edgar Hoover, didn't know about, especially in the Washington and Department of Justice and the Department of Justice. Interesting. The situation for Johnson had become so desperate that his nemesis, Bobby Kennedy, had even begun working to help his protege, Bobby Baker, to avoid incriminating himself. According to Drew Pearson, Kennedy called Baker, telling him, "Get off the phone. You shouldn't be talking," warned Kennedy cryptically. In the View of Justice Department, recent 1966, the revelation that wiretaps and electronic devices were used to monitor some of Baker's conversations, and the warning is highly significant. Clearly, by the fall of 1963, Kennedy had begun using every tool at his disposal to move the subject of the Justice Department investigation away from Johnson's enablers and underlings and directly at the Vice President himself. Wow. Johnson had replaced Baker as the real subject of Robert F. Kennedy's investigation. RFK had begun using the IRS investigators in order to use Johnson's legal problems as a leverage to force him off the ticket. Wow. One of these investigators, Walt Perry, told author Gus Russo in 1992 that Billy Sol Estes had funneled $10 million in bribes to Johnson, and the Bobby Kennedy had contacted Estes in prison, making him an offer. A lot of scandals going on here, don't you think? The killing zone. As the presidential motorcade snaked its way through the streets of downtown Dallas, then onto the Houston Street, it came alongside Dealey Plaza to its left. When it reached Elm Street, it had a slow crawl in order to make a sharp turn, 120 degrees to the left, a maneuver which was contrary to the standard Secret Service rules. The driver of the limousine, William Greer, was apparently a little surprised by this, since he almost ran into the curb before he straightened it back out. As the presidents opened, the top limousine slowly started its way down the Elm Street. With respects to the shots that hit Kennedy, Dr. Mantic had established the final shot to his head was a fragile bullet fired from the north end of the triple underpass from another above-ground sewer access structure at the end of the grassy knoll, which entered his right temple and created shock waves that blew through his skull and caused an exit wound at the rear of his damaged skull, as seen in the frames below here. Can you guys see that? Bobby, let's see here, where was I? Oh, this caused his brains and blood to be blown out toward motorcycle policeman Bobby Hargis. This caused his brains and blood to be blown out toward motorcycle policeman Bobby Hargis with such a force he thought momentarily he himself had actually been hit. That is scary. The diagrams below help illustrate this fatal wound and how all four shots hit JFK. They were originally published by James H. Fetcher. You guys see that? LBJ. This is the book. to get this book right here. Kind of looks like he's looking at me, huh?
Does.
Yeah?
And he would look at you if he was here.
Yeah? Anyways, thank you all for being with us here tonight on Second Thought. We look forward to seeing you next week. And from now until then, have a beyond beautiful day. Peace and love, everyone. Bye. We love you more than love.